This is the Brooks County Detention Facility, and this is where the Quitman 10+2 was brought on that day, December the 10th, 2010, I think it was. I was in Atlanta, Georgia when I received a phone call. And that phone call said, "George, law enforcement is going wild down here. They're arresting all of us." They was talking about how they came to their homes. One county commissioner's wife, Cody's wife, they was questioning in terms of why they arrested her the way they did. But be that as it may, it wasn't their fault. They was on the doing what District Attorney David Miller and Assistant District Attorney Brad Shealy, along with the G.B.R, I'm sure the Secretary of State, and other members of law enforcement had decided to do. And that was to arrest 10 of the most outstanding citizens in Brooks County, I was told. And so I interrupted my stay in Atlanta, and I came back to Brooks County. And I walked the streets with the late pastor, Moody Air Force employee Calvin Benjamin, and we interviewed people on the street. Representative Tyrone Brooks have been here. David Lucas, Senator Helen Butler, and many other people came to Brooks County to see what was going on. And the Quitman 10+2 now have received much support. And as you know, they got them for alleged voter fraud and mishandling absentee ballots, which many of us believe is nothing but a farce for what it did for the first time in Brooks County history. It gave blacks the majority vote on the Brooks County Board of Education. And like the mayors in the state of Georgia, the newly elected black mayors that are being ignored, well, this is the Ghetto Free Press version. Yes, this is the Ghetto Free Press, and I'm in Quitman, Georgia. Camellia City, home of Beauty Sheffield, established 1859. Yes, yes, yes. Listen and listen well. As the Ghetto Free Press, the voice of the people, do what we've always done, and that's to keep you informed under our form of government. Listen and listen well. Greetings. This is the Ghetto Free Press, the voice of the people. I have in my hand a legal document from the courts. And in the Superior Court of Brooks County, Georgia, on August the 19th, 2014, 9:00 a.m., the state of Georgia versus Lula Mary Smart and Nancy Whitfield Denard, defendants. The order reads, "It is hereby ordered as follows. Trial in these cases, which have heretofore been joined for trial, is hereby set to begin promptly at 9:00 a.m. on Tuesday, August the 19th, 2014, in the Brooks County Courthouse, Quitman, Georgia, with jury selection." Let me say at the beginning of this video that Lula Smart was tried in September of 2013. And she was tried again in April of this year. The first trial ended up in a mistrial. The second ended up in a mistrial. And now the state of Georgia is trying Lula Smart once again for the third time. The state of Georgia have now added Nancy Whitfield Dennard as well. Why they put both of them, I will never know, because Lula have already had 2 mistrials. I will leave that up to other people to decipher. But I would like for you to understand that these 12 people, the Quitman 10 plus 2, one, Latasha Head, is now deceased. I talked to her father a month ago. She had lupus. Whether or not the pressures, the added stress on her ailment was a contribution or contributed to her death is yet to be determined. But the people here in Quitman and Brooks County and around the state of Georgia don't believe that these outstanding citizens did anything wrong except got out, registered people to vote, gave them permission to file absentee ballots and to help and assist them, and they did that. And eventually they gave the Brooks County Board of Education a majority black vote for the first time in Brooks County's history. And some people, many of us believe, were not satisfied with that. So be that as it may, I'm saying to you to check out the videos that I'm going to put beneath this video so you will get the rest of the story. Because the first trial, the second trial, much of what took place in this courtroom was never published in the newspaper, the Quitman Free Press, the Valdosta Daily Times, or any other newspaper in South Georgia or in the state of Georgia. The TV stations gave both cases extremely low media coverage, if any. But the Quitman Free Press, we commend them for being in service from the 1800s until today. And so we're going to be in the courtroom if God pleases, and we are going to talk to you day by day, because we know in our form of government, too many American citizens have bled, suffered, and died not to have a free press that will report the good, the bad, and the ugly. So now, the next clip I want to show you about where this case first started with a postal clerk, Boone, who saw a number of ballots, as he claimed, in court. And he, well, you'll get the rest of that. Then I'm also going to talk about the Board of Elections and the registrar. I want to show you the building where they were, where people vote. And they took ballots from that location to her home to work on these absentee ballots. I don't know if the people that she hired, including her granddaughter, I don't know if she was a Democrat or Republican, don't really care. But what I'm concerned about is the fact that when it was brought out in trial, that the registrar could deputize people, including her granddaughter, to work on these ballots, to take them home from her place of employment, and nothing be said about it by the Secretary of State, the Georgia Attorney General, or the Governor of the state of Georgia, or Eric Holder of the Justice Department with the Civil Rights Division. Now, why am I concerned with that as a retired military veteran of 21 years? I'm concerned about that because if the postal clerk could take information from official mail and give it to a private investigator at the request of a former Board of Education attorney and nobody says nothing, then the state of Georgia is given the impression that that is a new precedent that is being set, which means all the other registrars in the state of Georgia now can take ballots from their place of employment, Mr. Eric Holder. They can take official ballots out of the post office, take information and give it to a member of the Green Party or the Republican Party or the Democratic Party or the Independent Party or somebody who don't have a party at all, and nothing be done about it. And the Postmaster General in Macon and the Postmaster General of the United States haven't said nothing about this. And so that means also that anybody can understand that that's a new precedent for the post office. In other words, your official mail now can be looked at, opened, information taken from it and given to anybody, and nobody in the state of Georgia will say anything. So, if this is the precedent that is now set, we had better ask ourselves, why are we allowing our sons and our daughters to join the United States Armed Forces to fight for the rights of foreigners while our rights are being discarded as the old 1857 Supreme Court decision called the Dred Scott decision, which said no black man had any rights that a white man had to respect. So I'm gonna be here on the 19th, and I want you to be here. And I want you to watch. The first trial, I think, had one black on it. The jury had one black, I believe. Well, two. I think it was two. And the second one had one black man on that one, and they had one alternate. Now, there's a great possibility that the computers picked those two juries. And so I guess the same computer will pick the jury selection process for this trial. And just maybe the computer this time will pick an all-black jury. Maybe the computer will make it possible for the people on this jury will be majority black. But we're gonna see, because we all must ask a question. I'm gonna ask you a question rather. When have you ever seen here in Brooks County a majority black jury? Or better yet, when have you ever seen an all black jury? Yet you often see all white juries, but never an all black or majority black jury on nothing. And I'm going to add, for the benefit of the ordinary citizen, during the last trial, do you not know they selected a Latino lady about 4 feet tall? She couldn't even speak English nor understand English as it was brought out, because she didn't even understand when the judge told them that they may have to come back the next week before the mistrial was granted, and she didn't even understand that. That was awful embarrassing, or should have been, to that computer that picks these jurors to serve on these court cases. We sat in the courtroom, watched this same juror fall asleep 3 times, and the 4th time she threw her head back in this manner. And the judge said, somebody wake her up. Somebody wake her up. This should be a matter that is included in the transcript. But we also know that the transcripts in Georgia, many of them are altered. They are not reliable. If you doubt what I'm saying, then you could ask Shannon Watkins, whose 14-year-old daughter was hogtied by a sheriff deputy in Lowndes County, and she has not received justice yet. And she says that the transcript that she had to pay money for was altered. Don't take my word for it. She has a copy of the transcript, and we have it recorded by means unknown to some. But Jesus said, and ye shall know the truth, and that the truth shall set and make you free. And now, sit back. First, I want you to look at the building. This is the building where the registrar works, but took absentee ballots from this building that I'm about to show you to her place of residence to work on them, and the rest is history. Not published in the newspaper, but is a part of history, because you have a right to know. Listen, and as the Bible says, hear ye, O Israel, because only the truth will set us free, here in the United States of America and even in the state of Georgia. Listen, 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 because somewhere we must know, somewhere, that there is a God somewhere keeping watch over his own. And all the people of God said, give us the truth. Give us the truth. Don't keep it from us. Don't keep it from us. Give us the truth. Please, don't just go to church, mosque, synagogue, and temples, and then lie and say you love God and that you are on your way to heaven while you practice the hate of Satan, instead of that which provide for life, for all life. So listen, please. This is a small town of Quitman, Georgia, in the county of Brooks. And of course, this is where the Quitman 10+2 was charged with alleged voter fraud, mishandling of absentee ballots. And this is the post office in Quitman, Georgia. And this is where a one postal clerk by the name of Mr. Boone noticed, as he testified in court, that there was a bundle of absentee ballots in the mail. And of course, what he did was that he notified authorities, but not before he gave information from those official ballots to a third party. And we also found out that, I believe it was indeed a former attorney for the Brooks County School Board, and the rest is history because it came out in the courtroom. Yet you don't know much about that in terms of what happened in the courtroom in either of the two mistrials of the Miss Lula Smart case. But yet we are here to report because we believe that you have a right to know. The question have been asked and still being asked, why is it that the Postmaster General in Macon or at higher levels been called in to investigate for the information that citizens put on their personal mail should not be released to anyone outside of the postal channels until it gets to the person. And so we know, because we was in the courtroom, this information was taken from those official ballots and given to a private investigator as it came out in the case of Lula Smart. And once again, why is it, the question is, why is it that this postal clerk has not been called in and something been said in the general public about whether this new precedent wherein in the state of Georgia, a postal clerk can take information from an official ballot or personal mail and possibly open it and or take information from it and give it to someone without the person that wrote the letter's permission. It seems like Georgia is a state with its own set of laws and rules. Yet the Quitman 10+2 are facing, after nearly 4 years, accusations against 12 outstanding citizens. And I believe it is a travesty of justice. Again, after 4 years, and these outstanding citizens have still not had their day in court. This is the Brooks County office building. Tax Commission, tax assessor, zoning, and the Board of Elections. This is where the registrar, I guess, took official ballots from this official location to her home to work on them. And apparently the Secretary of State, Brian P. Kemp, has no problem with that, because as far as the general public knows, nothing has been said about this new precedent that has been set with the Quitman 10+2, which was the basis for indicting these 12 outstanding citizens, much like what happened with the post office. A postal clerk took ballots and information from the ballot and gave it to a third party, as was brought out in court records, and it should be in the transcript of the first Lula Smart mistrial, the second mistrial of Lula Smart, and of course August the 19th. This is why I'm doing this, because I want the people to know that these individuals have been waiting for nearly 4 years to have their day in court. Next, it is what it is.